It's kind of crazy. It turns out it doesn't really matter. It's not like you needed to manufacture consent to get to this point. Not only did you not need to manufacture consent at all, but it turns out people will do it for themselves.
Well, let's get the latest from Kate Fisher, who's at the White House. Kate, what exactly is the American plan here?
Well, it's still pretty unclear. Donald Trump speaking to reporters just a few moments ago, and really there are still more questions than answers. He was asked that as his first question, and he suggested that the group of people behind him, which included Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, would be part of the group running Venezuela, along with people inside the country. He said that Marco Rubio had just come off the phone with the vice president of Venezuela, who Donald Trump said.
How would you react if Trump took out Erdogan? Great question. The American government already tried to do that. Okay. And it was awful for Turkey. And every Turk that hates Erdogan that's in my chat right now will tell you how bad that actually ended up being for Turkey in general, because it only solidified. One, it failed. Two, I would not have preferred Fethullah Gulen to be in charge to Erdogan. If you're asking me sincerely, do I prefer Gulen, a CIA asset, he's dead now, over Recep Tayyip Erdogan? No, I hate Recep Tayyip Erdogan. I can't even go back to Turkey, and I absolutely prefer Recep Tayyip Erdogan to Fethullah Gulen. That's number one. Number two, what happened in the aftermath of that? What happened in the aftermath of that is that Erdogan was able to thwart the coup and pull a referendum and change the Turkish constitution, turning the Turkish system of governance from a parliamentary structure to a presidential one. And he did that with 51% approval. One might even say that the failed coup actually gave a lifeline to Recep Tayyip Erdogan.
Would do whatever the Americans wanted, which is interesting because she was also on state TV at the same time denouncing what the Americans had done. Donald Trump also said that he was not afraid of putting boots on the ground in Venezuela, although he suggested that the U.S. presence will be largely to do with the oil reserves in the country, and that American oil companies will be heading into the country as soon as possible to start running things there, and that the money they generate would pay for any of the U.S. actions there. He said, we are going to run this country, which of course is a very different statement from the one he ran his presidential campaign on, which was to remove the US from foreign wars and not to intervene abroad.
Well, there's been a lot of international outrage.
It's funny. So Shadow said, at least they're being honest this time. It's about that it's about the oil. Yeah, but like, it doesn't really matter, because all the basters, the hogs, the MAGA are going, yeah, based. We love the oil, as though they're going to see a piece of the profits somehow. And then all the liberals are refusing to hear Donald Trump openly say it's for oil, and are still coping in my chat saying, no, this is for the liberation and the democratic revolution of Venezuela. It's kind of crazy. It turns out it doesn't really matter. It's not like you needed to manufacture consent to get to this point. And seemingly, not only did you not need to manufacture consent at all, but it turns out people will do it for themselves, whichever way they slot ideologically. Liberals will say, no, this is actually to make Venezuela more gay or something, you know? They'll be more feminist and more gay now. Maduro was a misogynist.
Is any of this legal?
Well, if you read the indictment against Nicolas Maduro, his wife, and others, it suggests that...
Also, we bombed... Is it true that we actually bombed Chavez's tomb? The mausoleum? Bombing Hugo Chavez's tomb is just for the hell of it is petty, spiteful, and awesome. Awesome, dude. Awesome, yeah. Bombing Chavez's tomb wasn't just about spite. Chavez was literally producing fentanyl in this tomb and sending it to the U.S. Some recent U.S. intelligence reports said he ordered the tomb scientists to develop chemical weapons and give it to Hezbollah to attack the U.S. What an idiotic comment. The issue is to exterminate a pilgrimage site of a dictatorial and totalitarian regime. Oh, my God. Oh my God. I feel like Gen Z has severe video game disease where they view people they can't interact with as thoughtless NPCs facing consequences so far removed from us that they don't process. Nah, people have always been selfish and about victims of colonial plunder. There's just no shot.
It says that Nicolas Maduro is the de facto but illegitimate ruler of Venezuela. And I think this is one of the ways the Trump administration is going to suggest that they have the legal authority to do that, because they say that Maduro was not the official head of state. Essentially, this was a law enforcement, an arrest warrant for a drug trafficker, and not the removal of a head of state. And Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State, said essentially just that. This was largely a law enforcement operation, and therefore we did not need congressional approval.
Kate, thanks very much. Well, joining me live now from Washington is Elliot Abrams. He was the US Special Representative for Venezuela and Iran during Donald Trump's first administration, and also held foreign policy positions under Presidents Ronald Reagan and George W. Bush. Elliot Abrams, how can kidnapping effectively a sovereign country's leader, no matter how deplorable that leader, and then running his country, be justified?
Well, he lost an election in a landslide last year. He is not, in the eyes of any democratic country, the legitimate leader of Venezuela. He is an indicted drug.
And here's what's happening right now. Both the White House and the Pentagon are cautioning the war in Iraq isn't over yet. They point out that while much of Baghdad has been liberated, some important northern cities remain under Iraqi.
Just want to point out some similarities that I'm seeing, you know? Y'all feel
everyone's focus fell on the statue of Saddam.
Will you bring this statue down?
The Americans brought in a
From the Iraqi Freedom Report, a remarkable scene in Baghdad today as U.S. tanks rolled into the center of the city and were greeted by Iraqis celebrating their own freedom after decades of oppression under Saddam Hussein. Perhaps the greatest symbol that they toppled the giant statue of Saddam Hussein. The scene has been compared by Defense Secretary Donald Rumsfeld and others to tearing down the Berlin Wall. Sounds like the Venezuelan foreign minister was watching you react to Macron. The Venezuelan people... Wait, what? The Venezuelan foreign minister, we must strongly reject the insolent statements made by Macron, which constitute an unacceptable interference in the internal affairs of a sovereign state and the demonstration of a profound ignorance of the country's political, institutional, and social reality. Stop edging us and show us the statue falling.
tank recovery vehicle. One over-exuberant Marine couldn't resist a bit of flag-waving patriotism first. The stars and stripes were taken down and replaced by the Iraqi flag. Then the moment of history. Saddam's regime could finally be said to be at an end.
There it goes!
Taste the freedom, baby. Taste the freedom for everybody. Isn't that fantastic? Dude, they always keep welcoming us as liberators everywhere we go.
Drug trafficker. So arresting an indicted drug trafficker.
How are things now in Iraq? Prosperity. Unimaginable prosperity. Things are so good. When I think of like a country that simply works, I think of Iraq. That's what I think of. What do you guys think of? I think of Iraq when I think of awesome. Afghanistan.
It's something that happens all the time. The fact that he called himself the president of Venezuela, I think, should not be of particular concern to us. I think the question of what happens now, as your reporter said, is the big one. I mean, what does it mean we are going to run Venezuela? I mean, the phrase doesn't even have any meaning.
Right.
I thought it was particularly unfortunate that the president said the administration had spoken to Maduro's vice president, but had not spoken to Maria Corina Machado, the Nobel Prize winner, who actually won that election last year with Edmundo Gonzalez. So all of that is pretty, to me, it's pretty disturbing.
Yeah, and disturbing because, you know, Donald Trump talks about watching this like a TV show. We know how this movie ends, don't we? When we look at what happened in Afghanistan, in Iraq, it's chaos, isn't it, that's coming?
No, I don't believe that. I think that's wrong. This is not the Middle East. Venezuela has a homogeneous.
Dude, no. Dude. That's wrong. That's so wrong. It's so different. Why won't you consider that it's so totally different? Wrong. It will be different this time. They will actually welcome us as liberators. It will be different this time. It's just, God, you guys are so silly. Just trust me. Just trust me. Just one more regime change. Just one more regime change, man. Come on. Can I have a little bit? Can I have a little bit? Just one more.
Population. There are no Sunnis and Shias in Kurds shooting each other. They are surrounded by democracies in the Western Hemisphere. So I think the analogies to Libya or Syria or Iraq or Afghanistan really have to be proved. And I don't think you're going to see that.
But you admit there isn't a plan. And you talked about the arrest of a leader. But I mean, it goes far beyond that. The fact that America is now in charge of this country, Venezuela. The US Constitution requires Congress to approve any act of war. That hasn't happened here. Is this illegal?
Look, some years ago, Barack Obama spent 2 months bombing Libya and claimed this was completely constitutional. Congress did nothing about it. So there is a long track record here, and it is bipartisan. And when I hear some people, particularly in the Democratic Party, saying, oh, this is so terrible, who were dead silent on Obama, that's just politics.
Yeah, but I mean, is what's really going on here that Donald Trump wants to get America's hands on some of the largest oil, well, the largest oil reserves in the world. He's already sending the US oil companies in there.
Well, Chevron, one of the largest, is already in there. This is a very strange thing because truthfully, we don't need that oil. They can produce maybe another.
You see, we actually don't even want it. We're doing them a favor. Famously, rich people hate more money. Like if you got an oil and gas giant, they famously hate more free oil. This is a thing that a lot of people don't understand. It's a different kind of oil. It's heavy crude. It's heavy. It's just too difficult to refine. Yeah, we have the refineries for it, but it's too difficult. We just don't like it, actually. We don't want it at all. Ugh, it's ugly oil. It's icky. It's too thick. It's too thick. Hard to refine, really, and no one wants it. No one wants it at all, which is why we should actually give more money, more subsidies to the oil and gas giants to even take this oil out of the hands of the Venezuelans, honestly.
500,000 barrels a day, maybe 1 million barrels. The world oil market is 105 million barrels a day. So I expect that Venezuela will have very little impact on the world oil market or the price of petrol in the United States. It's very odd.
Yeah, the last part of that argument is correct. It will not. It will not. Because why would it be? Why would it be? I mean, you can just improve your profit margins if you keep the prices in the same at the same level, but now you have more supply. You can just sell it elsewhere, right? Keep the price at the same level, and now you can sell it at the same price point to other places.
And you say that there is, you're disturbed that there is no plan. How do you think the Trump administration is going to salvage this? And it says it's prepared to go in again with a second, much more devastating wave.
I think if they can salvage it, if they let the Venezuelan Democratic opposition that won the election in a landslide take over the government and lead the country as the people of Venezuela asked them to do by voting for them last year. If we try to substitute Americans, or worse yet, people from the Maduro regime, that will be a disaster.
But Trump says the people don't trust her.
That was a very bizarre remark. And I am asking myself, where did he get that?
Oh, that's classic Trump, baby. He just says what comes to mind, okay? Yeah, he's f***ing it up. He's like, we already set this plan in motion. We had the Nobel Peace Prize, give her a Nobel Peace Prize, the Nobel Peace Committee. And this came out and was like, nah, she sucks. Where the hell is he? Where's he getting that from? That's not how it's supposed to happen. Also, apparently, Maduro is landing in New York right now. Do we have footage of this? Do we have footage of Maduro? Yeah, he said, China, Russia, and Iran have interest in Venezuela. How does this operation affect their relationship with them? In terms of countries that want oil, we're in the oil business. We're going to sell it to them. We'll be selling the oil. Yeah, as I said.
China, Russia, and Iran have interests in Venezuela. How does this operation affect your relationships with them when it comes to the oil and
China
drugs?
and Russia, Russia when we get things straightened out. But in terms of other countries that want oil.
Zoran is going to release Maduro. Zoran Mamdani is going to release Maduro and send him back to Venezuela so he can continue being the leader of his country. And then Donald Trump is going to do another special military operation to extract him once again. The refineries in Southwest USA are equipped to refine heavy crude from Canada, but given Canada's reactive trade policy to Trump, he may be looking at alternatives. Otherwise, these refineries operate at 40% capacity. So there's a possibility that this action in Venezuela is a reaction to Carney seeking out new markets. What is this?
Listen to everybody. Nobody believes in you. What are you prepared to do about it? Don't let no one come into your house, take your meal, do what you need to do today. I'm not nervous. I'm just telling you.
I know it's a lot to ask, but I would like to see Mayor Mamdani help Maduro escape to custody of the New York Southern District, or at the very least confound his transfer. Mayor Mamdani, sir, you have a wonderful opportunity here. You have an opportunity to do right. You have an opportunity to strike a blow at the heart of empire. Do it, Mr. Mamdani. You said you want to protect refugees. Maduro is a refugee. Some might even say an illegal immigrant currently on U.S. soil. Mayor Mamdani, your people yearn for freedom. Live plane footage, Maduro flight, stairs attached to a plane and door opening, deplaning momentarily, police boarding flight right now. What is this, NBCNewYork.com? All right, let's see. Let's check it.
Terrorism charges following
My sources
his
are
capture
telling me
by the
Mayor
United States.
Mamdani
Take a
will be
live look
saving
right now.
Maduro.
This is Chopper 4 live over Stewart Air National Guard Base in Orange County, New York.
Why are they doing it? Wait, why are they doing it in New York? Because it's the Southern District of New York that does all the high-profile international cases.
Open. We're watching this on Chopper 4, and agents just went on to the airplane. I saw FBI, DEA agents entering that airplane before
what
Maduro
can
and his
Mamdani
wife
do? Nothing.
will be
What do you
transferred to the
mean?
Metropolitan
We're joking.
Detention
He's the
Center
mayor.
in Brooklyn. We have
It's
Terry
a
Monahan
joke, chatters.
on the phone for you. He is our former NYPD Chief of Department, a News 4 contributor. Terry, thank you for being with us. We're watching this unfold right now live from these images on Chopper 4. Walk us through what's happening next. I saw DEA, I saw FBI going onto this plane. What's going to happen in these next few hours?
So right now, the federal agencies are talking to him. They're getting ready to transport him from Stewart Base into New York. U.S. Marshals should have the ultimate custody of him right now. They're the ones who transport prisoners. He'll be taken off of that plane, and he will be put on a chopper to be transported into the New York area, at which point, once he lands in New York, he will be taken over to the special Southern District Courthouse over on Pearl Street, where he will be processed as any other prisoner would be at this point in time. He will be fingerprinted, photographed. He will go in front of a judge where they will unseal his indictment, at which point the judge will make a determination that he needs to be sent to the Metropolitan Detention Center. He will be transported out of there and quickly taken to the detention center. I am sure all the transports are going to be highly protected. The NYPD's role in this would be to lend support to the federal authorities who have him in custody. I'm sure emergency services will be on the scene when he lands in New York.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Terry. I want to pause you here because we want to stay with us here. We're going to take a moment, pause, and let our viewers who are watching on our main channel join us.